Hey gang, back with another video for you today. Since I have been traveling and haven't been able to shoot content, I thought I'd put together a video for you guys of fragrances from the house of PHLUR. Are you guys familiar with PHLUR? So recently I discovered Cherry Stem, and it's one of the fragrances that I've been wearing quite a bit of. It just recently launched and I really love the way this cherry fragrance smells. So cherry, I like cherry. It's not one of my all-time favorite notes. And so I haven't really found one that I really love. I liked Lost Cherry and a few other cherry fragrances. Of course, I also really enjoy the Cherry Punk Extrait from the house of Room 1015, which is actually in our Scent Club kit, by the way, if you haven't picked that up. But this one actually, what I like about it is, even though it gets very like suede, soft suede, leathery in the dry down, it's more about the tart fruitiness up top that I really like. There's also plums here and some boozy notes. So the actual experience is quite delicious. And it actually also has a bit of a dry down that I really enjoy, kind of patchouli-esque, super sexy. So I think this cherry fragrance is definitely one I will recommend further on. But this just launched. If you guys haven't tried this, please do. Cherry Stem features notes of black cherries, orange brandy, plum nectar, red freesia, sugared jasmine, soft leather, ebony woods, warm caramel. So it's not uber gourmand, it's not uber leathery, but the combination is super intoxicating and really a delicious combination. It's created by Clement Gavarry. I believe it's an IFF perfumer. Let me know if you're familiar with this perfumer's work. There's one more fragrance that I'm going to talk to you about that he's created. I do enjoy this one more than the other fragrance. And actually, this is my favorite PHLUR fragrance next to Tangerine Boy, which sadly I'm not going to talk about here, but I brought along several of their small 10 mLs here, and I'm traveling with these fragrances, so I'm going to talk to you about them in this video. But again, this is super fruity, it's super juicy, and also tart, which is all, things I like in fragrances. So there's points I give it because of these. And as I said, eventually it does dry down to somewhat of a soft suede leather, but this is not your kind of almondy combo, which typically they do with cherries. Not the Tonka combo. Just a great fruity fragrance on the tart side, on the juicy side. The brand says lacquer. I get a very glossy effect here, super glossy and sticky, but not honeyed, not super sweet. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. I just like the tartness here. And in warm weather, it's been smelling great here on this trip. I've been in Italy. I was in Florence, started out in Milan, Florence, then to Elba Island, and then now I'm actually spent a day in Savona, Italy, and now I'm in Aix-en-Provence, and have some downtime. I'm gonna, shoot this video for you guys. But let me know your thoughts on this collection of fragrances from PHLUR. Are you a fan? I believe PHLUR uses all Firmenich perfumers. So just like KLE, they are using all Firmenich perfumers. So it kind of keeps the DNA similar, and they're not going from one, firm to another, like not with Simrise or IFF and Givaudan. They stick to one firm, and maybe they have a contract. I don't know what the deal is, but I've noticed that PHLUR uses all Firmenich perfumers, and same thing with KLE as well. They use all Firmenich perfumers. Anyway, this is a great scent. I really love it. It's become my favorite cherry fragrance, Cherry Stem from the house of PHLUR. Let me know if you've discovered it. And also do add a comment and let me know what your favorite PHLUR fragrances are. I'd like to find out. Also, just to let you know, I arrived in Aix-en-Provence a couple of nights ago. And last night there was the most intense storm. Thunder, lightning, and major showers. It was pretty overwhelming, but it's cleared up, but the sun is kind of going and coming back. So you're gonna see some changes with the lighting here. But I'm in the hotel room with a nice background, and you can see the big bathtub back there. So it's nice to have a little bit of a downtime when I'm going, and have time to shoot a video of fragrances from the house of PHLUR. Also, there is another standalone video from the house of PHLUR. There might be a few overlap fragrances from that video to this video, but most of the fragrances in this video were not in the last video, and vice versa. All right, well, the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is called Golden Rule. This is a Frank Voelkl perfume. He's the perfumer for this fragrance. And once again, he's an IFF perfumer. I'm sorry, not IFF. What am I saying? It's Firmenich. So this is also a 2025 launch. I believe we've got 1 or 2 more 2025 launches, and I'll get to those in a little bit. But I wasn't the biggest fan of this one, unfortunately. And I'll talk to you guys about it. I like the presentation. I like the whole kind of golden colored look and presentation with the bottle. As you can see, Golden Rule. This wasn't very exciting. I think the reason why I decided to do this video was because of Cherry Stem and how excited I was for that fragrance and really loved the way it smells. So I decided to put a video together with all of these little travel, 10 mLs. Are these 10 ml? These are 9.5 ml, it says, by the way, on the back here. So yeah, these are easier to carry around rather than big bottles. The only 2 bottles that I have with me are 2 of my favorite fragrances of the last year or so. It's, of course, 54 and Vanilla Mudslide. So I have those 2 fragrances that I'm traveling with, and then I have all these minis that I'm traveling with. But Golden Rule features notes of a vanilla cream, orange flower water, sandalwood, benzoin, jasmine blossom, coconut milk, golden pear, mandarin splash, and pink pepper. So to me, it's kind of a vanillic floral citrus fragrance. I wouldn't say it's bad. It wasn't exciting me too much. I mean, there's people that are gonna, smell this and really love it. But for me, it doesn't do it for me. It also kind of leans feminine, and not that there's anything wrong with that. Some people might say Cherry Stem is on the feminine side because it features cherries. But this one's just not doing it for me. It's not so exciting. I don't know why. And I really like the idea of it. I like the name Golden Rule. And what do you guys think about the names of PHLUR fragrances? They have some interesting names. And their marketing is also pretty interesting. Have you guys noticed their marketing? They do a bit of naughty, kind of in a sexy way. But Golden Rule, I'm smelling the vanillic touches. I'm smelling the flowers. It is a bit spicy. It acts very solar, by the way. So solar meaning sun, so golden, all kind of hand in hand. Does it have a bit of a sunscreeny kind of smell? Maybe a little bit. I'm not seeing like tropical flowers like frangipani or tiare. So it's not, or even ylang ylang. It's not going there fully. But this does act a bit kind of solar, a bit sunscreeny, but with a very vanillic presence. If you're a fan of Golden Rule, let me know. What do you like about it? Again, I'm not saying it's a bad fragrance. It's just not a wow for me. We all have different tastes, so sometimes I like a fragrance you don't, and vice versa. This one's not doing it for me, but Cherry Stem did it for me. And I wanted to highlight Cherry Stem so that you guys get to check it out. But let me know if you're a fan of Golden Rule. Add a comment below. I do also want to say the packaging for the 9.5 ml bottle packaging is different from one to the other. This is once again 9.5 ml, the Cherry Stem. But the presentation is different, whereas this one kind of slides. This one is just sitting in here. So maybe, I don't know what causes that, but I wish, not that there's anything wrong with it. I wish the different ones from one to the other were the same. And I kind of prefer this because this is easier to slide. And this one, sometimes it's in there so much that I have to rip it open to get it out. And now it's slipping through. So I'm just complaining a little bit, but maybe these were not available and that's why they went with these. But anyway. All right, next we've got Rose Whip. This is created by Constance Georges-Picot. And I believe she has one more fragrance here. I believe it's Missing Person. We'll get to that towards the end of the video. But Rose Whip is also a 2025 launch. Pretty decent rose fragrance. Once again, it's not super wow for me like the Cherry Stem is. But again, this is a subjective hobby. Everybody's got different tastes, just like food and drinks and music and movies and things like that. we click with things differently. I like Rose Whip a little more than Golden Rule, but for some reason I keep thinking Golden Hour for Golden Rule. I don't know why, but I must be familiar with something else with the name Golden Rule. But let me know if you're familiar with Rose Whip. It's also interesting that this particular fragrance also has Rose Whip written in French. I didn't notice that with the other fragrances. But Rose Whip features notes of rose, pink pepper, blackcurrant, cashmere wood, amber, musk, osmanthus, and nutmeg. Let me know if you're a fan of this one. I don't know what it is about this rose. It acts like a bubblegum. And I usually don't get bubblegum from rose. It's usually from tuberose. But whereas with tuberose, it reminds me of bubblegum, here it smells like bubblegum. A lot. Like the texture of bubblegum, like chomping on it in your mouth, like remember how that is if you still do it or you don't, or any type of gum that you have, that texture is coming off like that with an overdose of a lot of rose and of course spices. It's quite peppery, and pink pepper and rose are really wonderful together. They smell really great together. And the thing is with this, there is a little bit of a fruitiness. I think the fruitiness always complements rose perfectly. And it's not that they're using fruits in this, it's got the osmanthus note, which they're pulling out its fruity nuances or qualities, and against the rose, it acts a bit fruity. But I wouldn't say this is a mature rose, it's a super young rose. Because of that bubblegummy effect it's doing, I think this is very young. It's fun and playful and not a serious, not a, mature rose. It does have a girly quality for sure. And if you like those kind of things, I think you'll be satisfied. It's very young to me because it is got that bubblegummy effect that's happening here. So that is Rose Whip. Let me know if you're familiar with that. I wonder if they're referring to I'm going back to the texture thing. It's acting kind of, I wouldn't say doughy, but the gum texture, maybe doughy. But I wonder if whipping idea of like whipping dough or whatever is the idea where the name Rose Whip came from. I'm not 100% sure where the name came from, but I like the name. I like the fragrance. It's not something I would wear constantly and over again, but I think anybody that's looking for something very young as far as rose goes will be satisfied with Rose Whip. Again, let me know if you're a fan of Rose Whip, add a comment below. So I'm not too familiar with Constance Georges-Picot. I'm assuming she's with Firmenich as well. But the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Soft Spot from 2024. So it launched last year. This is created by Honorine Blanc, and I'm very familiar with her fragrances. And she is definitely with Firmenich. She's done some great work for various brands. And of course, I guess, I'm not sure if she's done more with PHLUR, but definitely Soft Spot is created by her. Let me know if you're familiar with Soft Spot. This is very musky, powdery, and vanillic. I do like these kind of fragrances. I like this more than Rose Whip, but I'll tell you if I really love it or not. This one it's got a very familiar smell, but super prominent with the musks. Like you can smell the vanilla, but it's not a super heavy, dense, thick vanilla. There's a lightness and airiness about it, but it features notes of musk, vanilla orchid, freesia, jasmine petals, sandalwood, amber, water lily, bergamot peel, and mandarin. So in the end, it's a kind of a spicy, vanillic, floral experience. A lot of white flowers in this. This one also acts a little bit solar, but not quite similar to Golden Rule. I almost said Golden Hour again, not quite Golden Rule. I think I'm actually experiencing Golden Hour because it's the late afternoon here in Aix-en-Provence and the sun's going down, and maybe that's why I keep referring to Golden Rule as Golden Hour. But I think this is definitely very feminine leaning. This is definitely not a fragrance I like to wear. This one also has a lot of designer qualities about it. I smell these kind of fragrances with designer fragrances. So there's a very mass appealing quality about Soft Spot. I like the name. I don't like the fragrance as much. And again, it's not a bad fragrance. It's just not my kind of fragrance. I think for me, the standout here today is Cherry Stem. If you like cherry fragrances, tart fruity fragrances, juicy fragrances, you really need to try. But maybe you're a fan of Soft Spot and I don't want to diss a fragrance you like, but again, it's not for me, unfortunately. Not only because it leans feminine, it's got a very mass appealing quality about it. So I don't find it very exciting. But I think a fragrance like this is something that somebody that's only used to wearing designer fragrances is the kind of fragrance they might graduate to niche with, and then eventually get into some, more edgier, non-designer smelling fragrances. But that's Soft Spot, created by Honorine Blanc. All right, so the next fragrance is Vanilla Skin. This is definitely my second favorite, and it's the same perfumer as Cherry Stem. I still prefer Cherry Stem more than Vanilla Skin, but this is actually pretty good as well. It's created by Clement Gavarry. This features notes of vanilla, cashmere wood, sandalwood, agar wood or oud, benzoin, sugar crystals, pink pepper, pink apples, jasmine petals, and lily. This is also powdery. This is also floral. It's white floral. It's sandalwoody, creamy, and vanillic. Let me know if you're a fan of Vanilla Skin. It's quite yum. It's a very familiar kind of vanilla fragrance. Ones that I've actually experienced from the niche world. The vanilla is kind of creamy. Yeah, the fragrance overall is creamy, but the vanilla is syrupy and gooey. So there's a sticky quality about it. It's meshed beautifully with white flowers, but the white flowers aren't overpowering. Like the last fragrance, they were kind of overpowering. Here, they balance out the vanilla. They don't like overpower because you're still smelling vanilla here, but there's other things happening, but they're not taking over and overpowering on top of the vanilla, because it is, after all, called Vanilla Skin, and I want to have vanilla skin if I'm going to wear vanilla skin, right? But it's kind of spicy. Definitely there's spiciness here. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Vanille Insensé from the house of Atelier Cologne. I don't even know if that still exists. Maybe a little bit of Lune Feline, but a lighter kind of, not as animalic and not as balsamic. Balsamic as in it featuring balsamic notes. This to me is vanilla balanced, vanilla not overpowering. Even though you're getting the vanilla quite a bit, you're still kind of, balancing it out with notes that are kind of making it lighter. But of course there's a creamy effect. And it's super yummy. I love it. I love this one. Definitely my second favorite. This is Vanilla Skin from PHLUR. Let me know if you're a fan of it. Let me know what are your favorite PHLUR fragrances. Add a comment below. And if you want to watch more content about PHLUR fragrances, there's another video on the channel. You can go search for PHLUR and that should come up. All right, the next fragrance I'm talking about is Solar Power. So there's an interesting experience with Solar Power. I was wearing it one time around a friend that I don't see too often, and also a friend that doesn't really enjoy perfumes. I mean, she'll kind of show interest in it, but doesn't like go run out and buy fragrances. So she'll take samples. I've given her samples here and there. And when I was wearing this around her, she really fell in love with it and she ended up buying it. So that's a good thing. But it's created by a perfumer by the name of Husar. I'm completely unfamiliar with this perfumer. Never seen his name come up. I didn't even know who it was until I put the notes down together for this video. And so I was like, who's that perfumer? I've never heard of this perfumer. Let me know if you're familiar with Husar's work. Has he done any more fragrances for PHLUR? Add a comment below. But this is definitely a total solar fragrance. And I think that's the reason why she liked this, because of the solar qualities. She's also into boating with her husband. So maybe she's experienced beaches a lot. She likes the sun and things like that. But I was kind of surprised. Like, she actually, after we hung out together for like 3 or 4 days somewhere away from where I live, and she sent an email, went all out and sent an email saying, where can I buy the fragrance? But I like this one. I think this might be my third favorite in the lot here that I'm talking about. But Solar Power is featuring notes of orange flower, neroli, solar musk, Italian red mandarin, sun-drenched bergamot, sea salt, driftwood, jasmine absolute. This to me smells like suntan lotion on skin after you've dipped into the seawater, and that smell of the suntan lotion with the seawater and the marine notes and the flowers in the sunscreen or suntan lotion are mixed together. It smells like a fun day at the beach, but it's very sunny. Of course, it's got solar floral notes and, you know, warm notes, because in the end, these sunscreens or suntan lotions are kind of warm. And I like the idea of solar fragrances. Let me know if you guys enjoy them. Do you guys enjoy fragrances that smell like sunscreen or suntan lotion and things like that? So good, really, really great. It reminds me of vacation because it smells like the beach. And not that I vacation at the beach much. I'm not a beach bum kind of a person. I like big cities more than, or I like cities or villages or in Europe or things like that more than the beaches. But I kind of like that idea because it does put me in a vacation mode. So that's Solar Power. Let me know if you're familiar with Solar Power by PHLUR. Add a comment below. All right, so the next two fragrances I have spoken about. I believe I spoke about Father Figure, and it's a 2022 launch, I believe, or 2023. This is also created by Frank Voelkl, again, for Manish perfumer. This one I've used quite a bit. I do enjoy it, but I've also had it for a while longer than a lot of these other ones. You know, this does remind me of, I don't have a box for this one because I threw it away, but this does remind me a little bit of a less juicy version of Born to Stand Out's Fig Porn. And let me know if you guys are familiar with that one. But I think this is really nicely done. I think this is a toss-up between this being my third favorite or Solar Power. I'll decide and give you guys a ranking here in a bit, but this does feature notes of skin musks, lush fig, orris root, iris flower, sandalwood, vanilla Madagascar, water lily, cassis bud, patchouli leaf, jasmine dew. So it's got all these kind of green notes, earthy notes, fruity notes, and woody notes. So it's quite woody for a fig fragrance, but also there's juiciness about this too. Really lovely. I do enjoy this fig fragrance. I love fig fragrances. This doesn't smell like a lot of other fig fragrances, but it reminds me of some. And I think it's the part that's the fig that's in here, or the fig notes. And I'm getting the fruits, and also I'm getting the greenness of the figs. And I think they might just be featuring the fig leaves in this, and we're getting the fruity notes from other notes that are in here, like the cassis buds. Really nicely done. I don't get the name Father Figure. Also reminds me of a George Michael song, but that's another story. Let me know if you're familiar with Father Figure. Are you a fan? Do you enjoy Frank Voelkl's fragrances? I like this one a lot more than Golden Rule. And finally, last but not least, it's Missing Person. This might be a bit of a controversial fragrance. Why is it a controversial fragrance? I think there's hardly anything there. So this is PHLUR's version of something like Molecule 1, Not a Perfume by Juliet Has a Gun, I Don't Know What by Diaz and Durga. It's those kind of minimalistic, musky fragrances that are personal, skin sense. Somebody has to get close to you to smell a perfume. This is also created by Constance Georges-Picot. Are you familiar with this perfumer? She did Rose Whip, which is fun, but not a favorite. I like this one more. It's minimalistic. This is also can be used as an enhancer, booster, primer, or you can wear it on its own to create your own personal musk, if that makes sense. So Missing Person, love the name, by the way. Really, really love the name. It's a perfect name for this fragrance. Clever, very, very clever. But this features notes of skin musk, white musk, sandalwood Australia oil, blonde wood, bergamot nectar, sheer jasmine, fresh cyclamen, neroli blossom, orange flower. And you'll pick up those things, but they're not going to be in their most intense forms. Also, this is not a spray bottle. This is a roller ball. So let me put it on skin. The thing about this fragrance is it's not intense. You might be anosmic to it. You might not smell anything. What I do get is very light, sheer touches of all of the notes. A lot of musks, very clean, maybe slight bit, I'm not gonna say it's got funk. I think once it mixes with your own body chemistry, it might bring out a bit of funk, but I don't think the actual fragrance itself has a lot of animalic type notes or musky notes. It's musks, skin musks and white musks. So it acts very powdery, but also very creamy because there's a very creamy woody experience here. And eventually, you know, you'll notice the white flowers, but they're all in its lightest, most transparent, sheer type of experiences. I know there's a lot of people that love these skin scents. I like them once in a while. And don't get me wrong, I love my beast mode, love intense, super powerful fragrances. But eventually, sometimes I want it light. I don't want to smell too strong. And so I wear things like this, but also this you can, use as a primer or booster. But, people that are working at hospitals and those kind of situations might wear fragrances like this. My sister is a nurse. She likes not a perfume, so she would probably like this. She likes, fragrances like Molecule 1 and things like that. So it's those kind of people that don't want too much scent, but want to wear something, And also with, fragrances like Molecule 1, when you first experience it, you're completely anosmic to it, but eventually keep trying. Like I just ran into somebody I was talking to that mentioned they didn't get anything out of Molecule 1. And I told them, give it time. Give it like, 7 to 10 tries, if that much. I remember when I first did Molecule 1, it was at least a good 5 times before I really started smelling it. Same thing with Molecule 4. They're the types of synthetic molecules that are base heavy. So I think that's the reason why we can't smell them. It's just our noses cannot process the smell. So give it time, it'll smell. Even people complain about another 13. It just smells like alcohol. You just need to train your nose, keep trying. And if you can't do it with this, I can smell it. It is super light. It is super light. But for me, I can smell this more than I can smell the original Not a Perfume. Not a Perfume smells like nothing. Molecule 2 pretty much smells like nothing. It's Not a Perfume Superdose, intense smell of the ambroxan, but not a perfume, or I think it's Cephalox in that case, but a similar relative of ambroxan. If you can't smell it, give it a try. But again, even now, I still can't smell Molecule 2 or Not a Perfume, but fragrances like Molecule 1 and Molecule 4, where my nose was anosmic to them, and finally can smell them. And they're actually super strong, especially projecting off of people that are wearing those fragrances, or even myself. Like I can smell it after, a long day. That stuff stays on me for a long time. And it's the same thing with Missing Person. These kind of molecular, musky, skin scent type fragrances do take some time for you to notice their smell, and eventually you'll notice them. Anyway, that's the last fragrance, Missing Person, from the House of PHLUR. Remember I said there is another video. There's one from a few years ago you can go catch. Those are done from bottles. These are 10 mLs. Let me go over the fragrances with you. So number 1, Cherry Stem for sure. I love that one. Number 2, Vanilla Skin. Hey, we've got 2 Clement Gavarry fragrances back to back. Number 3 is Father Figure. Number 4 is Solar Power. And number 5 is Missing Person. I do like it. If I was to put the rest of the fragrances in order, I guess I would put Golden Rule at number 6, Rose Whip at number 7, and Soft Spot at number 8. But I don't like those as much as I like these fragrances. These are definitely top 5 wearable fragrances, and even Missing Person I really do appreciate and enjoy. But let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Let me know if you've sampled Cherry Stem. It's really good, by the way. I do have to say, I was actually going to post the 3 different fragrances I'm traveling with, my Juice Box 54 and Blender Graphies Vanilla Mudslide, and this. I was going to say, I love the way this smells. It doesn't act as beefy as 54 or Vanilla Mudslide. It's more a very consumer level, so it doesn't have those kind of punchy qualities. But once you get past that, the smell itself is really, really awesome, and I love wearing it. So we'll definitely be hyping it further. But again, I'm just getting this video out for you guys to see and hear about these fragrances from PHLUR. Let me know, put a comment down below if you haven't sampled any PHLUR fragrances. What sounds great to you? Which of the fragrances I discussed today that 8? Do add a comment below. By the way, if I didn't mention, these are sold at Sephora. Sephora, I believe, has an exclusive deal with them. And then also they're on the PHLUR website as well. But yeah, let me know if you are a fan of the brand, what are your favorites? Add a comment. And if you are not a fan, which sounds the best to you? Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.